Wow, that's loud. The technology is up and running, so we're set to start. All right, Rob, you want to start?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Robert Dodig. I am okay. I'm good. I have no time constraints. We have Heather Leonard will be out today, and both Dr. Dees, Dr. Desamore, and Dr. Duncan will be late. That's who we have missing. I have no elephants. Expectation, make progress.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Brinkley. I'm doing fine. Missing's been noted, no time constraints. And elephants? No elephants, and make progress is good.
Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Kelty. I'm doing well. Sorry. No time constraints. I know, missing's been noted, no elephants, and expectations make progress. I did it. That's it.
Okay, I'm Carl Burnside, Double High School. I'm fine. No time constraints. Missing has been noted. No elephants. And expectations, I'll go along with make progress.
Good afternoon. I'm great. I have no time constraints. The missing is noted. I too need to see it. I have no elephants. Expectations to make progress.
Mike Gatewood, I'm doing great. No time constraints. Missing is noted. No elephants. Expectation, make progress.
Good evening, Helen Martin. I'm doing well. No time constraints. Missing has been noted. No elephants and expectations to make progress.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Robichaud. I'm the Director of Benefits and Wellness. I'm doing well. I do have a time constraint of 5:45 today. Missing is noted. No elephants in the room, and I will go with make progress.
I'm Shanna Johnston. I'm doing great. No time constraints. Missing or late has been noted. No elephants, and expectations are to make progress.
Course McIntosh, no time restraints. I'm doing well, sorry, no time restraints. Missing has been noted, no elephants in the room, expectations to make progress, and thankful for the room temperature.
I'm with you.
Ann Cole, I am doing very well. No time constraints. Missing has been noted, no elephants, and expectations are to make progress.
Okay, Kirk.
Hi, good afternoon. Kurt Zone, Chief Negotiator for TALC. I'm doing fine, no time constraints. Missing, I think it's just Mario on our side. Tina's on the way.
She's coming through the door.
No elephants, and I will go with make progress.
Good evening, my name is Kevin Daly. I'm fine. President of the town, I'm fine. No time constraints, everybody handled missing, no elephants. Expectation to make progress, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Jill Castellano, and I'm a teacher at Cypress Lake Middle and the Vice President of TALC. I'm doing quite well. No time constraints. Missing is noted. No elephants. Expectation. Make progress.
Good afternoon, I am Anna Witten. I am doing fine. I am a 4th grade teacher at Hickman Park Elementary as well as the TALC secretary. I have no time constraints, missing is noted, no elephants, and let's make progress.
Good afternoon, my name is Shay Pearson. I am the testing coordinator at Island Coast High School. I am also the TALC treasurer. I have no time constraints, missing has been noted. No elephants. Make progress.
Hello, I'm Amy Johnson. I am a teacher at Mariner Middle School. I am well today. I have no time constraints. Missing has been noted, no elephants, and my expectation is to make progress.
Good afternoon, I'm Christina Starrett. I am a art teacher over at Tortuga Preserve Elementary School. I'm doing well, no time constraints, missing is noted, as far as I know. Mario's on there, right? Okay. No elephants, expectations to make progress, always.
Hi, I'm Heather Rodriguez-Wibbles, school counselor at Caucus Middle. I am great. I have 0 time constraints, noted or missing, no elephants, made progress.
Good afternoon, my name is Louis Fisher. I'm the Director of Bands at Gateway High School. Little tired right now from a long weekend at Cypress Lake High School. No time constraints, missing has been noted, no elephants, and expectations to make progress.
Good afternoon, my name is Iris Grimaldi. I'm a licensed mental health professional. I'm doing well, I have no time constraints. Missing have been noted, no elephants, and expectation is to make progress.
Good evening, my name is LaShonda Hutchins-Colon, and I am the grade 3 through 5 math coach at Humboldt Elementary. And I am up, no time constraints, missing is noted, no elephants, and my expectation is to make progress.
Thank you, everyone. All right. We have next on the agenda to accept the minutes. Did you get a chance to go over the minutes from our last meeting? And does anybody have any corrections or deletions to those minutes? Amy?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the minutes.
All right, very few capitalization errors. Great. The page 2 of 4, under option, Article 2.05 option. Article 2.05 under option. Line 1, that's the first bullet. Actually, it's the only bullet. All right, it says pursuant to this statute, there should be a comma afterwards. In the second line, it says, sorry, I'll wait. All right, in the second line, next sentence, it says, in the event, for clarity's sake, delete in the event and put if instead.
In the event for clarity's sake?
No, sorry, in the event, cross it out,
Okay.
and then change it to if.
Okay.
No, that was my own wording, and
Okay,
for clarity.
okay.
And then in the third line, after amended, put a comma. I don't know if it would make it easier, but if you put like the word amended on there and then put a comma and circled it, it might make it easier just for, so you didn't have to write everything else out.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the way an ELA teacher does it,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
just.
I'm a kindergarten teacher at heart.
Yeah, that's okay. It might just make it easier for you so you don't have to write quite so much. Page 3. Under Article 2.03.
sorry.
No. Option. After copy, it just says print one copy, add of the contract, just for clarity.
Option after copy. Mark, I got it all. I'm the one that's gonna be making the changes.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Don't fret.
Okay, and then under,
Okay, sorry.
and then under the TALC Caucus report on page 3, presidents should have an apostrophe S. That's it.
All right, anybody else? Corrections or deletions? All right, hearing none, can we accept the minutes as corrected? All right, minutes are accepted. Next thing on the agenda is Article 5. We have the snapshot up here. For Article 5, we had language for employees at Lee Virtual School, discuss timeline for mid-year transfers, TALC dress code, extended contracts for annual contract teachers, and interest or staff morale, employee retention, compliance questions, manageability, student achievement. Wanted sample data from several schools for the number of students per teacher. Elizabeth shared mid-year language she has found. Percent of internal transfers, how many transfers mid-year? Right, teachers transfer mid-year. Percent of turnover by school for 3 years. Request dress code from all schools' handbooks. So that was Article 5. Where would you like to begin? Rob?
So we had a conversation, Kerr and I and Elizabeth earlier today, and I think there's an interest in starting with dress code, Kerr, if?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And while we do that, I just wanted to convey that the handbooks from the schools were dropped into a Google Doc, which has been shared with Kerr
Okay, great,
earlier
thank you.
today.
Okay. Anything we need to add? Kerr?
Yeah, thank you for that. It's, I think it's about 90 school handbooks, so it'll take a little time to go through all of those.
We're not going through them tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, man, page by page. And we delivered some dress code language from educational union contracts around the state. I sent that to Elizabeth and Rob today, and I've given it to my team. Can I just show just a few of the highlights? Is that okay, Don?
Sure.
Without reading through all these. We started with Lee County's, which is their board policy 3216. There are some that are rather loose. For example, Hillsborough. Parties agree that there's no official dress code for teachers. Teachers are to be professional in their dress and personal grooming. It. Very simple.
Capture these, Kurt?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to capture these?
He has it, right?
Yeah, I can give this to you if you just want to attach it to the chart. Yeah.
And Kurt emailed them so that we can always throw them up too. So
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
I didn't pass it out to our team.
Oh,
We can throw them up.
perfect, we can throw them up on the screens if need be. Thank you.
Something that I didn't include because I just grabbed it now was Charlotte counties. I can't find Hendry. I'm still looking. But Charlotte says, parties agree, staff sets an example in dress and grooming for their students to follow. Presents an image of professionalism, encourages respect for authority. These factors act in a positive manner toward the maintenance of discipline. So I think that was kind of the language we were looking for. You'll see some others. Citrus is, I guess they kind of govern by counterexample. They have a whole list of things you can't wear, more so than things you can. But I think that's where we are now. And I'll say we've had a few interesting conversations amongst our team as it comes to dress code. No one's debating that teachers and instructional staff should dress professionally. It's more of the Wild West as it comes from, what's good for one school may not be good for another. And maybe I'll stop now and I'll have other things to add.
Okay, anybody else? Rob?
I think, and Kurt did a great job. Thank you for providing that on relatively short notice. And I'll just point out that the school board policy for Lee County is not terribly extensive either. It just says the school board believes that instructional staff members set an example in dress and grooming for their students to follow. The board, subject to any collective bargaining agreement, authorizes development of standards for staff dress and grooming that promote a professional educational atmosphere. And it goes on to talk about educational process. So, we have no objection necessarily to something going in the contract that's fairly neutral, general. I think the words professional dress should be a part of that, or at least something that gives some direction, but not to the. I'll just segue into saying that almost 20 years in this district, a lot as an attorney, I don't think I ever was involved in a disciplinary case involving the way someone dressed. So these things, if handled, are handled at the work site and dealt with. So, but I understand where TALC is coming from.
Kevin?
So I shared this with her and the team earlier. I do think it suits all of our interests to not be overly prescriptive. However, I think when we're overly broad and just say professional attire, that's incredibly subjective. I know, and again, we're not supposed to make it personal, so I know of a situation where a teacher at one school had a streak of hair that was a different color. They attempted to discipline the teacher. I do know that there have been people in this building who have had full heads of hair that are not the natural color. And so when we say professional, and I don't care, full head, streak, no hair, I don't care. But I think when we just say professional attire, we leave it up to the subjectivity of an administrator. And when we want to challenge something, it's difficult to argue against that subjectivity when there's nothing kind of in writing that kind of defines what the standard is in a little more prescriptive way. There are people who say you can only wear t-shirts and school shirts. Well, there are plenty of cool shirts that teachers wear. Like Anna had told me, one that says third grade is my jam. That's not an inappropriate t-shirt, but it's not a school t-shirt, so can't wear that. So again, overly prescriptive is a problem, and underly prescriptive is also a problem. And honestly, I have an interest in putting language in the contract that prohibits administrators from fundraising around what clothes you can wear. There's one school that says you can wear jeans on Friday as part of this fundraiser. You can wear jeans on Monday at School Spirit Day. Again, it's one of those things where we're not concerned about jeans being unprofessional. We seem only concerned with our ability to fundraise. If I give you $5 a week, they're professional. But if I don't, I can't wear them any other day and they're unprofessional. So I think we need to get in this, and I've tried very hard with TALC to get away from fundraising off my members' backs, and I think we need to move in that direction and fundraise off the employees' backs. I know Sunshine Fund is good. I know it does good things. But we're fundraising from people who don't make a living wage as it is to wear jeans or to have a parking spot, to support the Sunshine Fund when, quite honestly, if the Sunshine Fund were wonderful, they may not have a problem fundraising to begin with. So I definitely have an interest in limiting or eliminating the kind of fundraising for clothes. Because at that point, it doesn't matter what professional is, it just matters, are you willing to pay that they're professional on the day I allow?
All right, anybody else? Carl? The mic's on its way.
That is right.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, wouldn't care if it was never worn, whether it was paid $100 or $5. But what I will say is that there are when we have the different foundation for public schools, and they do things because, and I look at it this way, it would be one thing if it was something that was an expectation to pay. When I say expectation, that means that a person could choose to be part of it or choose not to. Some people choose to donate like whether they wear them or not. But I think that when you start getting into the weeds with other things, that there could be some unattended. If it's not really an issue, then let's move forward. But honestly, if you say that they can't fundraise with it, they can't do something for Sunshine if they want to, because they don't have to. So I respectfully disagree with that, but I just assume that we never have jeans. If you really ask what my personal piece is, because I would say the same thing, but I just keep my mouth shut during those weeks when they do those things.
Okay, Kevin.
And I sit on the foundation board, so I'm aware of the work it does, but I also think the foundation should stop fundraising off the backs of teachers. When we sit in the foundation building and I'm at those board meetings, it is the movers and shakers of this community. Yet they still look at teachers sometimes to fundraise for them by their money. And I will say, and I have a whole story about taking my car to Fort Myers Technical Center to get work done. When an administrator who is a supervisor looks at you and says, hey, we're going to do something, I'm not sure everybody sees that as completely voluntary. And I know you can't control that, but it is what it is, and perception is reality. And honestly, the only reason we're bringing it up is because it is a problem. And Kurt will tell you in some place it was $80 for a quarter to wear jeans. And not whenever you wanted to, just when they said you could. I mean, I may be in the same camp as you, Carl, with maybe jeans aren't old-fashioned professional, but if I'm a kindergarten teacher, I'm sure not wearing a skirt past, I'm looking for blue jeans, because I'm on the ground. So again, I think honestly, we have a foundation retreat coming, and I'll tell them the same thing. We need to get off the backs of our employees to fundraise. There are plenty of people in that foundation board that have businesses that make a ton of money, some of whom, are contracting firms that make considerable money when they build things. So again, we're not bringing it up because it's not a problem. We're bringing it up because we have plenty of people reach out to us around it. So again, I think we need to talk about this more.
All right, anybody else? Rob?
Yeah, I think we've slid down a slope of talking about fundraising when we were talking about dress codes. And I understand jeans is something people wear, but I think they're two different topics, frankly. I mean, there's other things that go on in schools to raise funds too. So, a broad statement like, stop raising funds off the backs of teachers. Well, teachers pay for a lot of things, including union memberships. So, I think fundraising is as old as I am. I'm 55. We raise money in school, and so do the teachers. So I think that's a different topic, frankly. I think a dress code with some sensible language is what I think we're here prepared to bargain tonight.
Okay. Anna?
So going back to dress code and not fundraising for dress code, I think where some of the challenges have come is that it appears that dress code at each school site has fallen into principal's discretion. And so while even our itinerants can go to one school and be perfectly fine in dress code, but then go to their next school site and they're no longer in dress code. So when we talk about dress code that lies within our staff handbooks versus board policy, which one trumps the other? Is it board policy versus school dress code in the staff handbook? Because I know I have represented someone and the words were, I'm personally offended by what you're wearing. It was like, hold on a second. We're not here for you show me the violation in the staff handbook. You show me the violation here and we can have a further discussion. And that's where, when it comes down to personal interpretation, which I think can be tricky. What one person decides to be professional, somebody else may not. So just, I think our intent is to find clarity around that, so that way our staff members, like I said, the itinerants are not going from one school building to the next school building in and out of dress code.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, so the board policy would supersede any handbook at the school. But of course, any language in collective bargaining agreement would supersede board policy, so, relative to you all, not necessarily the whole staff.
Right.
So, that's kind of how it would work. And like I said, we're open to essentially some language that may provide guidance. But I think anytime you're in a situation where you're talking about things like a dress code, there's subjectivity involved. I mean, that's part of being a professional, is using the appropriate judgment. I, as an attorney here, used to often say to principals, I'll rely on your talent to make that decision. I'm an attorney, I can tell you what the law says, or what the policy says, or the contract, but when it comes down to enforcing it and interpreting it, I can help you with that, but ultimately it's your decision. So we're talking about drafting language that might make it a little bit easier for someone that has to use their judgment.
Anybody else? All right, if there's nobody else with anything, do we have any options that we can put up here? Kurt?
I have an option for just a starting point for discussion.
Okay.
And to make it easier, I'm going to go off the Flagler County page so that you can see what I'm reading. Yeah, that came out right. See? So I'm going to use A.
You guys throw it up on the
I can, Flagler still.
on the screen. On the stuff, you know what?
I'm going to, Amy, for you, I'm going to use item A, and then in item D, the last two sentences.
A.
Can we just read it slowly?
You can copy it from here if you want to read it to the group.
Okay.
That's why he's.
Rob is trying to put it up on the.
Okay. Do you want me to wait, or Donna, or read it, or your pleasure?
Yep.
All of A with Lee County set Flagler.
Okay.
How close are we, Rob? You want us to wait?
Yeah,
for you?
starting at jeans and ending at edges.
Okay, he's still looking for it, so go ahead and read it.
Okay, so it would say, Lee County Schools' objective in establishing a professional casual dress code is to allow our employees to work comfortably in the workplace as appropriate to perform their specific job responsibilities while projecting a professional image for our students, parents, colleagues, potential employees, and community. Jeans may be worn so long as the employee portrays an overall professional image. Bottoms may not have rips, holes, tears, or frayed edges.
That it?
Yes.
Okay,
Starting point.
right.
I'm gonna put it up there just so.
Yeah, that's fine. It's always good to see it and not just hear it. Rob is still trying to put it up there, so here we go. Okay, and it was A, current?
A and then D, the last two sentences.
Okay. So there it is up on the screen. This is Flaywood County Schools. Right. Any questions or about this one? Clarifications needed, Rob?
Yeah, so, I'm just curious about the necessity for the jeans sentence from D. We don't talk about any other specific garments other than jeans. And if you look at that whole paragraph, it talks about a whole bunch of stuff. So why the need to specify that jeans may be worn?
Correct.
Jeans are the items that folks are asked to donate in order to wear. This is gonna sound sarcastic, I don't mean it to, 2024, and jeans are not unprofessional attire. And I mean, if we look at many school districts across the state, I guess our team is having a real problem understanding kind of the gatekeeping around blue jeans. I was at a committee meeting last week and an administrator showed up in shorts. I guess I really don't understand the difference. If it's about not being able to, project authority in the classroom, we also do dress up as your favorite storybook character day. We do pajama day. We do all these other things. I don't see why jeans is kind of the hill we can't overcome here.
Rob?
Well, I don't even think we're on a hill yet, we just started talking about it. So, jeans, I'm not sure why we're singling out jeans though. Why if we were potentially agree to paragraph A and leave it at that, there are no items of clothing mentioned.
I think this is a starting point, and we threw out A and the last two of D as a starting point. So again, saying that, if y'all want D, right, certainly seems appropriate. But I would throw it under professional, right? But we do have language from our own school code, school handbooks that say undergarments should be worn under your clothes. And administrators can check. Sorry, I didn't know that, but yeah. So again, C as well, I think, again, that seems like something to put in.
You want that up as an option or added to this option?
What?
What you just said. See?
No, I'm just saying, I'm
Okay.
just saying this is a starting point, and if you guys are interested in add B, C, E, F,
Oh,
right or wrong,
okay,
that's
okay.
what let's do.
No, I'm interested in stopping at A. Which I'm not interested in adding anything more. I think when we start talking about specific garments of clothing, we're then headed down a slippery slope, and every time something new becomes fashionable, or, think about footwear, Crocs and sandals and open-toed shoes, and we can really, really head down a road here that I'm not sure is beneficial for either party. So I like A. It somewhat mirrors the language that's in the school board policy. and leaving it at that.
Do you want to have an option of just A, Rob? Or you just still discussing?
Still discussing.
And I guess my question on just having A is how do we, because again, we're gonna, and I'll hit this in a second, but again, what we're gonna find is no teeth is no enforcement. So if we leave it to the subjectivity, and we get the principal who says one streak of blue hair isn't professional, but we have a preponderance, then we're fighting about somebody's subjective opinion. So again, how do we have A, but ensure that it's not subjective, and when we disagree with the subjectivity, how do we address that in a meaningful way that has teeth?
Rod?
So I'm just gonna ask
Question and then
a question that we can choose to answer or not. What problem are we trying to solve?
I'll take your question and ask you another question. What is the purpose of each school having an individualized dress code?
I don't have a license.
Carl, can you answer
Well, I'm gonna
that
say
one?
this, and I know it's about time for me to retire, because this is just ridiculous in bargaining. We get sideways on something that, I mean, I'm just sitting here just totally just wishing that we spent as much time with this with learning aspects than this foolishness. It's just driving me nuts right now. And I will say this, we will never totally get rid of subjectivity. If it's really about getting rid of subjectivity, this is bull. Because we're not going to. There will always be a new style. There will always be something. There will always be subjectivity in that. A lot of schools already allow it and so forth. And so it's just, I'm sitting here just thinking to myself, with there's so many other aspects that we have to deal with. And I just kind of feel like we're I think I've been doing bargaining so long that I kind of recognize when we get to this point, this is the point before the money, so we have to find other things to kind of focus on and become important. That's the way I'm feeling right now. I mean, I'm just being very candid. And so we'll spend all this time and then we're going to identify specifically one item. And as if it's going to get rid of subjectivity, it won't get rid of subjectivity. It's going to continue with that. And so I'm just just flabbergasted. I know I'm getting old and cranky, and that's why I said it's about time for me to get the heck out.
All right, Carl. Thank you. Where's the mic going? Kirk.
I don't really know how to respond. Because this isn't an item that we're just trying to waste away time until the district gets to their executive session. This has been on our short list of things to talk about for years. It's, if we want to go back to the one-room schoolhouse, that's a whole different discussion. Or if we want to pay teachers to wear suits and ties, or if we want to force them to wear suits and ties, we need to pay them to wear suits and ties. And this is just about not being so restrictive from one place to the next, of employee dress. And that's really.
All right, Christina had her hand up next.
Yeah, Anna asked the question, so I can try to answer the purpose of each school.
Well, I'm not getting to Christina, go ahead.
The purpose of each school having a dress code, I suspect, and I don't have any knowledge of this, because this goes back probably decades, is for the principal to provide guidance to his or her staff as to what's appropriate to wear. I mean, that's the purpose of a dress code. So, but the reason why each one has their own separate one, because each school has, I guess in some ways, their own school culture. And what may be permissible at Pine Island Elementary may not be permissible at Lexington Middle School, I suspect.
Okay, Tina.
This is just a friendly amendment if possible.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
will leave out the sentence that says jeans may be worn. Sorry, that sentence. But if we leave that sentence out and change the next sentence, instead of saying bottoms be not have ribs and so forth, can we just put the word clothing in there? And so we're not as restricted with the word jeans. Because I'm pretty sure that most principals would not want people showing up with a pair of khaki pants with holes and rips and stuff. So it would cover both bases.
Did you want to put a second option or amendment?
Or amendment.
So this is Kerr's amendment, option. Is he okay amending that?
Let's
Or
do the
you-
second option.
Second option, okay. There we have it. The Kerr amended option.
So the option 2.
Amend.
So it would be all of A.
And part B. Okay, what I have here, Christina, is amend jeans and part D of last year's dress code to just say bottoms.
And she wants to keep
If you want
A.
to strike the sentence that says jeans. And just where it says bottoms, change that to clothing. May not have rips, holes, tears, and breakup.
Okay. Clothing may not have rips, tears.
Thank you.
So we're to keep part A, amend jeans and part D of Blackish dress code to just say clothing may not have rips, tears, etc. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. I saw more hands over here. Shay?
So many years ago, I worked for a female principal. And I went to work one day and I got called down to the principal's office at the end of first period. And I was told, we got called down by the AP. And I was told I was out of dress code. Never had seen the dress code, but neither here nor there. So when the principal came in the room, they told me I need to go home and change. And I said, that's fine, if I go home and change, go ahead and let me take the day off because I happen to live an hour from here. So they let me stay. I don't know why my dress was all of a sudden appropriate for me to stay, but they let me stay because I'd already missed a whole period of instruction time. The very next year, I worked for a male principal, wore the same outfit, which I consider to be professional. Nobody said a word. And I think that's where we're running into the problem, is that each principal has a different dress code. And while I understand that some things are appropriate in some places and maybe not appropriate in others, I don't know why I would put this back on the principals if we had to. Let the principals come up with, maybe elementary has one set of, their dress code. Maybe middle has one, maybe high has one. But, on a constant basis, on things like Facebook and different social medias, we're seeing, we get to wear jeans for the week, and other schools are like, oh, we never get to wear jeans. I dress professional every day. This is how I go to work. But it doesn't mean that everybody is comfortable that way. So I think the issue we're having is just the fact that it's different everywhere.
Jill's next. Please pass it to her.
Donna, we would like a caucus
Oh,
at some point.
okay. And Jill's had her hand up for a while. Okay.
I may want to say one thing.
Well, Heather had her hand up too.
My comments, and I will keep them brief, echo Shay's, where working in schools, the dress code starts to change oftentimes with the administrator. And I have always dressed in a professional manner. As I was a younger teacher and I blended in with the students at Eastleigh County High School, I dressed much older than my age and even more professional because I didn't want to get confused with the students, and that still happened. But one of the things that I reflect back on when I was a high school teacher, at one point, trying to really make sure that we were enforcing the student dress code that was appropriate, our staff dress code for female teachers then mimicked the student dress code. where I could not wear a skirt to school that did not go past the knee. The majority of the skirts I owned at that time were above my knee by maybe an inch. They were more than appropriate in fit and length. I could sit down, I could walk around, but I was no longer allowed to wear those to school. So I had an entire closet full of skirts and dresses that were now out of dress code. And that's, I think, one of the bigger issues is some, like Shay said, some type of standard. I'm 42 years old, and I know how to dress appropriately, and I know how to show up to work in a manner that demonstrates that I'm the professional in the room. And I think that I was frustrated that a lot of that autonomy was taken from me as a person with a master's degree. And I get that there's issues, that there are people that are my age with better degrees that may struggle to dress professionally, but a lot of that autonomy gets taken away when you're forced to follow a dress code that a student has to dress. Or you're just not able to choose certain things that you know look appropriate. Our professional judgment gets taken away.
All right, do you want to caucus now?
Yes.
I had two other hands up there. Okay, Heather had her hand up. And then Kevin, and then we'll caucus.
I'm gonna skip Heather and just ask my questions. I walked that through, okay, we won't bring this up. So my question comes down to what happens when we have a disagreement about subjectivity? Because what will happen is an employee will be disciplined. We will, file a grievance. First level probably lose, second level maybe win. If not, we will go to arbitration over subjective professionalism. And so that's the question, is how do we ensure that we take as much subjectivism out of it as possible and still have something that has teeth?
Okay, Heather.
It's on. I don't hand it to people on, I hand it to people off.
So when I was looking at this, I was looking at the language for Hernando County because we can all agree as professionals, we know how to dress. But I think that because there's so much that's changed at every school and the evolution of wherever an admin is at it, why not put it also back to your professionals in your school where you have 60, 70% of your staff vote on your dress code?
You want that up as an option?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put it up there, option 3.
It's like the last line of Hernando County's.
It's on the screen here, Amy.
Okay, so we're just put down in the workshop shall implement a specific dress code for instructional employees unless approved by 60% of the instructional staff. Stop it.
Don't, yeah, stop there.
You got it.
All right, as soon as Amy gets that up there, we can caucus. TALC, are you gonna caucus?
Yes, please.
Okay. And the district, do you have a room or are you caucusing in here? Okay. Then everybody will have to leave the room when we do the caucus.
It's the last one for me.